All right, yeah. So you can introduce. I'll request you to introduce yourself so that they can have a little idea about you, and then we can start with Nikhil.
Okay, fine. So I am Abhik. Currently, I'm working with Sama Technologies. My basic role in Sama, basically, I'm working on cloud. Uh, I'm doing all the activities on cloud related to ML, data analytics, big data. Also, partly, I'm working as a DevOps in the same organization. Previously, I've been associated with Visual Sir. It was my first company that I was associated with. And yes, I'm also like you people, learning and exploring data science every day. Like probably you guys are uh, full time into it. I am part time into it. I'm basically into the ops part, operations part. I'm looking ML ops actually. So also the recent achievement that I would like to highlight of my company is like the Pfizer vaccine that is out right now. So we were the major contributors, like our softwares were the major contributors, and I was also part of that project. I was the associate DevOps, wherein I was designing ML pipelines over there. ML, uh, they call it as AI ops, so-called AI ops. Yeah. So this is all about me. So we can get started if the candidate is ready.
Yeah. I would like to thank you, Abhik, for this for the nice introduction. So yes, Nikhil is there, so we can start. So here,
Hi, Nikhil. Good morning.
Yeah, yes, sir. Good morning.
So
Like, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Uh, want to get straight onto the point. I have a CV in front of me. I just wanted to know something about data science that is not mentioned in this CV.
Yes, sir. Like, in what sense?
Anything like your recent research into like anything that you are researching right now, or your interest is developing into data science, into anything.
Uh, yes, sir. Like, currently I'm working on a final year project, which
Mhm.
is brain computer interface. So, what
Okay.
BCI does is it's a non-invasive method. So, you put electrodes on your brain, you
Mhm.
measure all the signals, like EEG signals,
Mhm.
electroencephalography signals, and from them
Mhm.
you like sort of extract features, and from that, by that extraction, later on you can use that data for like for right now. What I'm working on is extracting features, as in to confirm uh, alphabets. So if somebody is mute or somebody who can speak, so we'll give him an idea of this is A. So if he wants to speak, like if he like if he wants to say the word hello, so he will go
Mhm.
for HELLO. So for H we will have an unique feature, then for E, then for LLO. So that way we can like give him like computer uh, a voice, a computer generated voice.
Okay. Okay. So, like, what all the algorithms are you using into it?
Sir, we are currently not into the software part. We are basically doing it by hardware first. So we are into extracting the like what kind of signals does EEG give us, like what electrodes to use, what software, what hardware specifications to use, and later on we'll move to software. So
What kind
I
of
think
sensors are you using to extract the data?
EEG sensors, and later on for instrumentation amplifiers, it is AD620 RS, and after instrumentation amplifiers, we'll be using amplifiers or microcontroller to like monitor all those things, and later on to stream it to like cloud or any other wherever we want to analyze it.
Okay. So, how comfortable are you with the term data science? Like,
Sir, I would say I'm a total newcomer. Like I've written machine learning in my resume, but as sir noticed, and even I'm very confident to say that I've just started it. I learned about regression classification. Apart from that, I'm doing data associate with Kushal sir. So like I'm starting my journey. I started my journey since this January 2021.
Okay.
So
So can you just tell, have you gone through supervised and unsupervised? What is the basic difference between the
yes, supervised learning, we use labeled data, and
uh-huh.
for unsupervised, it's unlabeled. So for every input, you don't know what output there is. So for every predicted value, you don't have a value to compare it with. In
Okay.
unsupervised,
Can you
then
just
it's
tell me, suppose if I give you a data set, okay, if I give you a CSV file, uh, how would you analyze that CSV file as a data scientist? What would be your steps? I just want a flow. I don't want the exact method, but I just want a
okay.
flow.
Mhm. Okay, first of all, I'll take the data set inside, I use whatever means I have. If I'm using pandas, I'll take a data frame, I'll take the
Mm-hmm.
data inside, then I'll look into if there's how many values are not filled or empty. So like I'll first consider how much percent of data is missing. So do I have to fill it, or I can drop the data set? Later
Mm-hmm.
on, I'll look into columns. So what all features I'm using, uh, what features and what I'm predicting. So based upon that, I'll be selecting my algorithms.
Okay.
Uh, if I'm selecting the features, then I'll see if there's any categorical data. So I have to encode it first.
Mm-hmm.
If after categorical data, like I have, uh, okay, let's say I have three different categories. If I'm considering data for only three countries, let's say it's Australia, France, and Germany. So I'll categorize this data into numerical data. So like one hot encoder. So by one hot
Okay.
encoder, I'll remove the dummy variables like k minus one variables. I'll use them. Later on, I'll split the data set upon what percent of data I need to train and what percent I'll be using for testing.
Mm-hmm.
Then feature extraction, no, feature scaling. So uh, have to scale the features. There are three methods: normalization, standardization, and regularization. After that, after all this data pre-processing, then I'll go forward with what kind of model I'm using.
Okay.
So
Uh,
was my answer sufficient?
yeah, I just wanted to understand like what is your understanding in after getting the data set, what would be your understanding? So I'll just go step by step. So you mentioned you would ingest the data through pandas, right?
Yes.
Can you just tell me what kind of data structures pandas use?
Series and data frame. So they
Series and
provide two
data frame.
data frame.
Okay.
So if you
Can you just tell me the difference, like what is a data frame and what is a series?
series is a single 1D array,
Okay.
and for data frame you can have n-dimensional arrays.
Okay. And so it is easy processing 1D actually. But then when you get n number of Ds, so how do you actually, what is your approach of processing those number of arrays?
Like I'm not sure what you're looking for, but as per my understanding, we take all the features uh, for
So
independent variable.
you said that series is one dimensional, right?
Yes,
And data frame is n dimensional.
n-dimensional. So
So how do you
more than two.
actually process n dimensional when you are getting an n dimensional array? How do you process it? What is that? You must be using something, right?
sklearn for machine
No, I'm not
machine.
asking about an algorithm.
Okay.
Have you heard about Panda NumPy?
Yes, I've, for NumPy is a heterogeneous array library. So when people were using machine learning, they came to know that Python is slow than C. So they wanted the speed of C and processing capabilities. So they started using NumPy. So using NumPy, you can do higher mathematical functions on arrays. So like
Yeah, let me just check. I think there is. Yeah, so there was a network glitch, so he's joining again. You can unmute yourself, Nikhil. Just a second. I'll make you co-host. Yes.
So, sir, so was I on right track? Like, did I explain NumPy properly, or was I wandering somewhere?
So he has joined. Let's continue. Yeah. Yes, Abhik. I hope you are able to hear our voice.
Now, actually, I was not able to unmute myself. Okay, sorry. There is a power outage. I have just joined through mobile. Uh, yeah. Okay. Fine. I just wanted to know your understanding about NumPy. How would you be, you know, processing that n-dimensional thing into NumPy?
So for NumPys, I'll be like when I've like we using pandas, I'll read the file. I'll
Mm-hmm.
get a data frame. From then on, I can convert it into NP array, and
Mm-hmm.
NP array you can use it for like statistical operations or uh, Fourier analysis or any other mathematical operation that can be used on array, like
Okay.
normal Python array.
Okay. Okay. Uh, have you heard of confusion matrix?
Yes, I have. Confusion matrix is basically what are the actual positives and negatives compared with what are predicted or positives and negatives. So uh, it basically gives us an accuracy parameter along with a few other parameters like uh, sensitivity, I guess, and like there are four more parameters along with accuracy.
Okay. So, what are the predicted classes in confusion matrix?
Uh, predicted classes, like that's why I was confused. So I said FOMO, like FOMO values along with this. But predicted classes, by naming them, one will be false positive, then true positive, false negative, and true negative.
So, what does true positive define? Like, what does it define?
Yes, true positive means
Can you give me a
when
one-liner answer into it?
okay,
I don't want a detailed explanation, but then just like what does a true positive define in a data set?
whatever value we have predicted, it is actually true, uh,
Okay,
as in what data we have.
and what is true negative?
True negative is like we have predicted that it is negative, but actually it is positive. Like
Mm,
our model predicted that it is false, but it is actually true.
are you sure about it?
I hope so. Like as
Okay,
per my understanding, it was this.
fine, fine. Can you just tell me what do you mean by this term ROC?
Region of convergence. Like I don't have full understanding of it, but for a layman's term, region of
Mm,
convergence is for what like when you plot x1 versus what values you have predicted values. So
okay,
for what values it will converge or what values it will give answers or the model will work.
okay. So you have like you said, you know about SVM, right? You have
Yes,
some
support
knowledge
vector
about
machine. Yes.
SVM. Okay, so what in SVM, what are like this term called as support vectors?
Uh, so SVM is like for me, I'll explain with linear SVM. So
Mhm.
if you have a like you have few data points and the optimal line fitting between them is a linear line, will have an epsilon, which is error margin. So we'll create a pipe out of it. So this pipe, outside points out of this pipe will be support vectors to this SVM.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So SVM, we basically do it to like SVM approach is different from other algorithms. As in, if we are comparing apples and oranges, SVM will say, okay, this is an orange, which is this much not an apple.
Okay.
And
Okay. Fine. That is fine. Do you have any knowledge about this algorithm called as decision tree?
yes, I have read a few. I do
Can
know.
you
Yes.
just can you just try me, try and understand like what it is like? Can you explain me how this decision tree algorithm works?
Yes, I'll be using two independent variables because that way I learned it. So let's plot x1 and x2 on two different axes. Now we'll split x1 and x2 on basis of some lines. Now
Okay.
these lines are decisions taken by your own algorithm. So it can be random, it can be best fit. So we take this decision based on what if our information entropy is increasing or not. So
Okay.
by taking this line, you are asking yourself a question that, okay, for X1, I am putting in condition. So
Mm-hmm.
does this make my both groups into a single question answer, that is it yes or is it no? On this conditions, we divide like the graph. So uh, we do this for n number of times, and after n number of times we ask the same question ourselves, like every time we divide the group or divide the graph, is
Mm-hmm.
it yes or is it no? So
Okay.
this creates a hierarchy, as in root node, then root node will have some branches, from branches it will have, so this will go on to leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So you can basically like have uh, what do you say, stumps, as in at the last if you have only one leaf, it is called stumps. So you take decisions based on that.
Okay. So is okay, fine. This is fine for me. So how do you make, like you said, like there are decisions that are being made. So how does this take this decision? Does it take into like does it take some parameters into consideration, or it has some uh, some methodology, internal methodology that
Yes, sir. So whenever you are pushing a like data point like x1 comma x2 x2, you're putting a data point inside. It will
mm-hmm.
check that what is the average value inside it. So inside that block, so it will calculate average values for all the points that are inside that one partition, and then it will predict the value.
uh, into decision tree, what is information gain? How do you
In
information gain in decision tree?
uh, Sir, I hail from an ENTC background, so I'll explain it by that method.
That is
Information
fine.
gain is uh, so it is inversely proportional to entropy. So entropy is basically how much irrelevance or useless noise is present in the like system. So information gain corresponds to that. Information gain will say how much information am I gaining by doing this decision. So up until now, when we were not deciding any factor, like our graph was only x1 versus x2, we were not sure that we can bifurcate it into groups. But by putting a line inside, by like checking if we have more information gain, we are saying that yes, if we put it like in this group, it will have these properties, and if we put it in this group, it will have these properties. So the information is gaining.
Okay,
Uh,
fine. That is enough for me. Any other type of this decision tree that you have knowledge?
uh, like random forest, it is like it is
How
a
does it work?
yes, a random forest puts n number of decision trees, and while predicting, it will average out all the values from all the trees.
Okay,
So out of these n number of decision trees, one of them is supposed to be accurate. So like it's like finding a needle in a haystack. So that one needle will be the best model we are trying to find. By
okay,
averaging out, we'll minimize the error and will move toward more accuracy.
okay. Uh, what do you know about logistic regression?
Logistic regression is a classification method. It's not regression as such, uh,
Hmm.
but it uses sigmoid function on logistic on uh, regression, simple regression. So if you have an equation for simple regression, that is y is equal to a0 plus a1 of x. So let's say we are doing it only for one feature. So now we'll use this y in a sigmoid function. So we'll have probabilities. So based on these probabilities, we'll be classifying what it is.
Okay, so you would be running this on which what kind of data, like what kind of data do you exactly need to run logistic regression? Like I just need the type.
Uh, Integral, like we can't use like encoding on logistic type, right? I'm not sure what it means because sincerely,
Okay,
I
so
haven't worked with that kind of variety yet.
fine, that's fine. Can you just tell me the outcome of this logistic regression? What kind of outcome it will give? What would be the type of that outcome?
Uh, Type of that outcome, it's a classification, this, right? So it will predict if it belongs to this or that.
So what how do you define whether it is this like how do you define it in the like technical terms, this and that?
Okay.
It has some name, right?
uh, yes, like even I'm searching for that term. I've forgot it.
So
Uh,
basically this is a binary output.
yes, binary outputs,
This and that is nothing but zeros and ones.
zeros and ones.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So anything about normal distribution, by any chance you have any idea about normal distribution?
I've tried normalization. So distribution is Gaussian distribution, right? So like that, I have basic understanding of what it is. So your
You have an
data points
understanding of
are
bell curve,
like,
bell curve.
yes, bell curve. I know. So bell curves are basically uh, like start with inverted bell. So inverted bell is centered around its mean is zero, and it converges towards your x-axis uh, on both sides. So you can say it is x square of, it's an image of x square. So
Okay.
you'll have an inverted bell. Inverted bell has uh, uh, like probability, cumulative probability is one of its property, and other one is mean zero, variance is low.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my basic understanding. I don't
That is fine.
I
Fine.
don't have that deep understanding.
That is fine. This is enough. Uh, how about clustering methods or algorithms? Do you have any knowledge?
Yes, clustering is done on unsupervised data. So as in we
Okay.
don't want to predict anything, we just want to
Mhm.
group it.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Uh,
Do you have any knowledge about outliers? What are outliers?
uh, Outliers are those data points that are far extreme. So like
Okay.
if a data point is outside the scope of, like it is single-handedly deviating your output, like predicted values from what you are expecting, then it is an outlier.
Okay. Okay. Uh, like, do you have any knowledge about graphs? What kind of graphs are used for, you know, analyzing this outliers or plotting this outliers?
No, sir, I haven't read in that depth yet.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge about like neural networks or deep learning, anything of that sort? Have
Sir, I
is
have read it in layman's terms, but as of now, I don't have a technical background of it. So, like, I have to read it that vastly then.
okay. Have you worked on any like text data where you're actually analyzing the frequency or you're trying to
Yes,
segregate it?
NLP is one of the machine learning algorithms famous for text processing. So, natural language processing, we try to segregate data. We make like bag of words model. I've used it once, but not to that extent that I have. like fully prepared to answer your questions, but yes, I've read it.
Okay. Have you gone through this term TF IDF vectorization?
No, sir. Uh, no, I haven't heard of it.
So, like you said that in bag of you have read about bag of words. So have you have
I've used it once, but
uh,
not to that extent. I was like,
so you
I'm still
haven't
hesitant
used this,
about.
you haven't gone like you haven't come up with this word like TF IDF vectorization in bag of words
No,
technique.
I haven't heard. Like I've read Bag of,
Okay.
not actually used it.
Mm-hmm. You do you have any knowledge about like recommender systems or anything of that sort?
No, sir, not right now. Like
Naive Bayes,
for me,
Naive Bayes algorithm.
naive bias, yes, it is based on bias theorem. So it is a probabilistic model which
Uh-huh.
like uses posterior probability and prior probability to determine what the class is going to be. Naive bias is a classification algorithm. I think no, it is a regression algorithm. Even a regression we use it for.
Okay. Uh, any kind of Kaggle projects that you have done previously?
Uh, Sir, I started with the Titanic problem, but I was stuck like right in this start. So
Mhm.
not to that extent, yes.
So have you understood that problem? What exactly they are trying to find
Uh,
out?
no, sir, not
Probably,
really. Like I tried my best.
probably you are stuck up at the stages part, but have you
Yes.
analyzed like
No, from the start, started using it. I read about it. Then, like I was pretty much messed about what logic I use. So I didn't move that much forward in what it is.
okay. So I give you a scenario over here. It's a very famous data set that even I had worked on when I was working under Kushal sir. So it's a medical data. It's a breast cancer data. Okay.
Okay.
So like it is having 32 columns. Okay. So 32 different, 31 different features. And like you have to predict that 30-second row. Okay. So basically, I just want a flow. Like, how would you approach to this problem? I don't want an exact solution to it. So this is
Mhm.
basically a breast cancer data, wherein malignant and benign. These are the two types. Malignant being the dangerous one, and benign being the okay. Like if it is there,
Okay.
nothing happens patient, and if it
Okay.
is malignant, then you have to go through the medical procedure. So
Okay.
basically, this is a binary classification. Okay, like a person
Yes.
can have, it cannot have. What would be your approach? Like, how would you like fine you're ingesting the data, you're doing all sorts of things, but then what
Mhm.
kind of uh, algorithm or approach you would like to give to this data after just hearing it? Like I've not given you anything, nothing is in front of
Mhm.
your eyes. It is just like a
Mhm.
discussion, like you are my friend and I'm asking you for a solution.
Yes, sir. So,
What would
like,
your what would you take on this?
okay, I won't start with what algorithm, but I'll start with the what approach. I'll use backward elimination. So, like, I'll make a model and then I'll check its p-values. So, is this feature really needed? What is its correlation? So, if its p-value is like, I'll start with whichever variable has the highest p-value. So then I'll put a like threshold. So all other values about this threshold, I have to eliminate them. So I'll remove that value. I'll make my model again, and then I'll try to like analyze that is this variable really necessary or not.
But then you have to consider this is a medical data. Medical data are the most precious one. You cannot eliminate any.
No, I'm just not using it, right? I'm not deleting the delete like
But
records.
then you're not even considering it, right? Because you are saying that you would eliminate it. Eliminate it is fine. You would keep it aside.
Keep it
But then
aside. Yes.
in medical field, you cannot keep anything aside. Trust me. We have
Yes,
been
it
in this
is.
process for the last 6 months in the vaccine making, and you cannot keep any data aside. Every data is
Hmm.
like a piece of gold in front of you.
Okay, so okay,
Anything else?
something
Anything that is coming onto your mind? Because this would be my last question.
bidirectional. Like if I can't use backward elimination, I'll go for bidirectional. So like it is time
So
consuming, but
I just said you like I even told you the output what it will be. It will be a binary output. Either the person is having a malignant data or the
yes,
person is having a benign tumor. Either of one.
yes,
It is as good as you're marking malignant as one, benign as zero, and what it would.
yes, zero. Hmm. Okay, so like you're expecting me to answer about algorithm, like what algorithm I'll use,
Yeah,
or
what
uh,
algorithm or what like whatever you use, I should get an outcome.
mhm. Okay, I'll start with
My
SVM.
my outcome would be a binary outcome. So now you decide
Yes, I
what
can.
you want to do. I don't care what you do at the back end, like
Mhm.
how you mix and match. I don't care. My output should be binary. It should be either it is a malignant or it is a benign. Simple.
Yes, so I'll use SVM and like this thing classification. So like I'll classify the data. At the end, I'll have one or zero. That's it. Like I'm not really sure what depth you want me to go.
So, okay, fine. You are using SPM. Suppose there are outliers. How you are handling the
Yes.
outliers? Because outliers are the most dangerous things. How do you handle them?
Uh,
In medical data, the outliers, like they are the data, but then you need to consider
yes.
even those things, and you need to train your model in a way wherein there are minimalistic loss of data. I mean, outliers are nothing but they are lost. Like you won't be considering.
Mhm. Yes. So like I can use normalization and other methods, right? I can bring them together. I can uh, like even use regularization if I'm using regression.
Fine, I'm good. I'm done.
No, for the last, like I'll really like to know what you are expecting. Like,
I was actually expecting like, see, this problem can be solved a number of ways. Like you
yes.
can have a number of algorithms that can solve this problem. And like
Mhm.
we had done this. Uh, let's see. I mean, now it is up to. I will not say my exact feedback, but fine. You were good.
Okay, like I'm relieved to
Now
know.
you need to analyze. Like if I say, okay, this all algorithm you could have used, and then so this is of no use actually. Like you should. I have taken your interview. You should go and introspect by yourself. What answers you had given, were they right or were they wrong? Because it's very easy to get an output. Like I'll say, oh, this place you were right and this place you were wrong. So that doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Fine.
All right.
I'm done.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
All
Sir,
right.
other people are there.
Yes, 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 yes. So we have Shubham. So only for Shubham we need to take. So Shubham, just confirm us if you are able to hear, and
Yes,
you
sir.
can put. Okay, yeah, you can put on your
Uh,
Good
mic and
morning.
camera so that we can. Mhm.
Pakhale Shubham
Shubham Pak.
Jitendra.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. Correct,
Good
correct.
morning, sir.
Yes. Good morning. Okay, yeah. So Shubham is here.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning. So just would like to know like what background Shubham comes from, what is his experience, so that I can stick around.
Sir, good morning. I am Shubham Jitendra Bakle. I am from Jalgaon, Maharashtra. I have completed BE Mechanical from AISSMS College of Engineering, Pune, with first class with distinction. I have keen interest in C, C++, Java, then MySQL, then data structure, then after Python coding. I have even done two projects on that. One is customized virtual file system, and second one is a file packer, unpacker, uh,
Okay.
and
So customize virtual file
customize
system.
virtual file system.
So what does this thing does actually? I have. Can you just explain?
Sir, this is a research and development related project using a Unix file system. As we see, we have to create file. Then we use the new create text file and then write all the functionality. And another thing is that by using file handling, we use open, write, and then after that enter into the data by programmatically. So it is another way. But in this project, I used all functionality using CMD command prompt and gi- uh, gives all the functions by using the programming in the CMD and create the file, open file, read file, then after that close file, then offset, then and other various data should be created by these files. Basically, the flow of this project is that as we create the program, when we run, then our exe should be created. The exe should be denoted to the u area of the process. The u area process contains UFDT, user file descriptor table. Basically, these values start from the three. One is standard input, standard output. Third one is a standard error, and last index three means the fourth one is the actual pointer, which denote to the file table. The file table, which basically consists of an mode, pointer, then count, and uh, and another pointer which denote to the in core inode table of the RAM. Then in this in core inode table, it basically contains an pointer which points to the four blocks, the which is the main four blocks of the RAM. Basically, these four blocks are boot block, super block, then data inode list block, and data block. Once we create our file, then the data should be stored into the data block. Uh, when we want to run the OS, then we require booting system. So basically, in boot block, we are booting the all the procedure. In second super block, the super block basically contains the metadata about the file. Means metadata about the file system, which is basically stored by the RAM. Uh, the total nodes, then free nodes. That's all. And data inode list block. It's basically an linked list of the inode. Means we have suppose 10 files, then 10 data node, 10 inode should be created, and each inode should be connected by linked list with the pointers with address. So in this data inode list block, it contains an file thing, a file name, a total size, then after that all things should be stored into the data inode block. So basically,
Okay.
this is an RAM system, sir. Sir,
Okay. Fine.
means
So
basically is that file system is that storing the uh, our everything which is storable in RAM is known as file, and storing and retrieving the files uh, in the RAM is called as file system.
okay.
That's all, sir.
How good are you with Numpy pandas, as you have mentioned it in your CV?
Sir, basically, I am in the primary stage of the data science. I'm from I'm means I am basically mechanical engineer turned into the IT field with C, C++, Java coding. Then after that, nowadays I have learned about the Python, NumPy, pandas in the uh, in as a good manner, not
Okay.
very much advanced,
Okay. Fine.
and
I'll ask you some
something
basic.
about and learned some about some pitch architecture of the Hadoop also.
Okay. So you're good at Hadoop.
Sir, basically, I am in the basic stage of the architecture.
Can you
So,
just explain me whatever you have learned?
sir, basically, Hadoop is uh, a framework of the Java, which is used for the big data across the clustering of the various computers, various CPUs. Uh, there are the Hadoop
Can you just tell
architecture.
me what are the components like?
Sir. There are the two-way masters and slave. The master block consists of an a name node, a secondary name node, and third one is job tracker. And the slaves consist of data node and a task tracker.
Okay. So can you just tell me what does name node does? Like what is the functionality of name node?
Sir, name node is basic uh, main feature of the Hadoop. It consists of an replication factor and FS image, which means FS image consists of an address, means which is uh, location yeah, of the block. Means that which file should be stored at what location, means address should be stored into the fs image, and the free block of memory should also be stored into the fs image.
What is the block size? Data
Sir,
block
block
size,
size
maximum and minimum.
120 256
Sure.
128 or 256, sir, not sure about that.
Okay. What is this job tracker and task tracker? What they do? Layman's language.
Sir, uh, job tracker,
And
sir,
task tracker.
sir, job tracker is a uh, master.
That is fine. I know it is in the master
Sir,
architecture, and task tracker is in the slave architecture. Like
flavor.
what they do. No. Okay. Fine. Fine.
Not
So what is like like the X feature of this Hadoop thing? Why people use Hadoop? Like
sir, as we see nowadays, the data should be going on in the tremendous manner. So at one such time, we want to need a processing that data. So the uh, the inventor should be come across the Hadoop and gives us a better the processing better understanding of the processor by using the Hadoop. So the so use that.
okay. How good are you with Python?
Sir, as expected, normal level.
Normal means at what level? Big, like have you gone through classes in like the OOPS concept in
Yes, yes, yes,
Python?
yes,
You
sir.
have gone through, right?
Sir, I am good at oops.
But then in Python,
Yes, sir. Also,
okay. So like what is a definition in Python? How do you define a definition?
oops, sir.
No. Python, like in Python, how do you define like how you define a function in Python?
Okay, a def function name, and then after that, the parameter should I either should be parameterized or unparameterized, depend on we give in a round bracket, and then after that colon, and we use indentation so for the definition of the function.
So suppose if you want to call that function, how would you call that function? Suppose if you're
So by
defining you're defining a function wherein you are putting in some parameters. Okay, you're defining some parameters in that particular definition. So how would you call that definition?
so by creating the object, we can call by using the dot product, which directly access the function. If it is parameterized, then we give it a function with parameter, actual parameter, and if it is not parameterized, then we cannot give any kind of parameter.
Okay, so can you just tell me what do you use as a method or a constructor in Python?
Sir, the constructor in Python is init function. Means
Okay,
and
what are the data types that Python uses? Basic data types.
sir, integer, float, then after a complex string, uh, then list, tuple, set, dictionary, uh,
So can you tell me what is the difference between a list and a dictionary?
list and dictionary. Sir, huh. The list contains one array uh, and the dictionary having an key and value pairs. That yes, and list is mutable and dictionary is immutable.
Okay, what is an array into Python? Like, what is an array? Is array and list similar to each other? Are they the same data type or different?
No, sir, no. Sir, basically, array is an homogeneous element which store homogeneous elements in index format, and a list is an combination of an heterogeneous elements uh,
Mhm.
in index format. That
What is a lambda function in Python?
sir, the one-liner function means we have
Where
to use when we
can you
want.
use it? Where can you use it? Like
Sir,
any scenario where
inside
you use it?
function. Sir, inside function when we want to call the function, then it's basically takes too much lines of code and it creates stack frame. So we avoid that by lambda function and runs all the things in single line.
Can you tell me the difference between continue and pass? Where
Okay. Sir, the function without any definition, at that time it gives an error. So we have to explicitly gives pass in that to avoid the error and run our system properly without any exception.
range and x range? Can you tell me what is range and x range?
Sir, I know now range, not x range. The
Okay,
range
what's
is
the range?
basically and suppose for x in a range of 10, then
Mm-hmm.
x should be print 0 to 9.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Like if you want to like you have written something, you have written a function and you want to give a brief, like you have written this code and someone else after, suppose you don't touch that code, someone else is developing that code, so how
Yes.
would you define everything like what you have written? Did you get my question?
Yes, sir.
Suppose you have written a code, okay,
Uh,
and that code is been used by me, like I will be
okay, okay.
using that code. So when I get that code, I need to understand like what that code is, you know, and I will be
Yes, sir.
interacting with you. But then just by looking at the code, I should understand what that code is. So what you would be doing to make that code uh understandable, that I can understand, like as a Python developer, I can understand.
Sir, basically, we use that module and we just
Okay. Can you tell do you have any knowledge about like
okay,
how
okay,
to
okay.
bring
Sir,
the
we use comments.
no
What,
comment
sir?
is fine, but then do you know this concept about docstring?
Doc string.
Hmm?
No, sir. I'm not aware.
Are you aware about args and k args, kw args? Where do we use it?
Sir, can you recall that? There is
Args
some technical
and
problem.
kw args.
Args and sir. Basically, args denoted to the tuple means in the value should be inserted into the tuple, and k args stored into the dictionary, a key value pair.
Can you tell me like when should we use args and when should we use kw args in function? Like when you're defining a
The
definition, you are
okay,
giving these parameters like args and kw args. So what,
sir.
like
Sir,
why do you give these parameters?
when
And
we want to immutable our parameter, then we use args means tuple basically, and when we the data should be unordered, unindexed, uh, and unchangeable. Then at that time we use k args means basically is in dictionary key value pair.
okay, Do you know something about shallow copy and deep copy?
Sir. Sir, shallow copy in that we equals the hash code means in Java, and deep copy we nee, in shallow copy we equals the data, and deep copy we equals the hash code
Okay.
means address basically.
What is multi-threading? How do you
Sir,
achieve multi-threading in Python?
multi-threading in Python basically the function should be
Do
the
you
many
know
function
something
should
about
get one process.
Okay, do you know something about global interpreter log in Python? GIL.
No, sir.
Okay. Fine. Shubham, I'm done. It was good.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It was good.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, basically, I'm in the primary phase, so not
That's fine.
too much
Never say
known
that
about
you
that.
are into a primary
Yes, sir.
phase.
Thank you, sir.
Never say that you are into a phase. Everyone is always learning.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, thank you,
Sure,
Shubham.
sir.
Thanks a
Thank you.
lot. Yeah. So we have two only. So
Yeah.
yes, Abhik, you can give your you can give your common feedbacks maybe to both of them, and we
Uh-huh.
have other around 20 two other participants here, so they will also get to know about. So they have experience, but yes, your feedback would help them now. You can give
So
them.
first, so first is never underestimate yourself. So like both of the candidates, they were always like, we were into the basics, we were doing this, we were doing that. Everyone is into the basics, whenever even I am into this technology world, every day there is something new that I have to learn, or probably I know that technology but I have to learn something new. I cannot go back and say to my manager that, oh, I'm new to this technology, I cannot do this gives a negative impact. This is something like, oh, you know this thing, but then you're hesitant, like in doing it. So never say that thing. Second is, whatever like you have to have 100% confident in, whether you're saying it right or whether you're saying it wrong. And other thing is, like, you have to be confident enough. Like, if you're coming from other branches into IT, it doesn't matter as long as you're good at the particular technology. Like, if you're good at programming, okay, that's fine. If you're good at scripting, okay, fine. So yeah, that is what my feedback would be. And yeah, that's it. Like, this is a general feedback for both of the candidates.
All right.
And suppose if you are having some language constraint, like one can definitely have, you can just say it at the start of the interview. Nobody would mind that, like if you're having a language constraint, at least in today's IT world, because there are some functionalities in IT wherein you are a part of a technical team where you're not facing the client, and there are other functional guys who can take care of that communication. So if communication is making an hindrance in expressing your answers or expressing your views, so that can be something, like as a negative point. You can say, okay, fine, I'm not that good at English, I can speak this languages, I can give my interview in this language. So no one would actually mind that.
Yes, correct.
So you are more expressive in that way. So suppose if you're speaking in your own comfortable language, so you are more expressive. You can express your answers in a better way. So that would actually give a better understanding to the person, like how good he or she is in this particular subject. That's it, sir. I'm done. This is my general feedback that I felt in last 45 minutes.
All right. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Abhik, and I hope it must have benefited two plus the rest of the participants here. So
Uh,
we will share the recording of the same so that you can revisit, because this was all live. So if you will revisit, that will give you more insights, okay, to the one who attempted the interview as well as to those who were actually observing. Another good news, okay, so I always kept you guys busy. Another good news is we will be having one more mock plus
Okay.
guidance. Okay, one more mock plus guidance for this will be taken by one industry person who is having experience about 6 years, and that experience is into business intelligence and data warehousing. Okay, and this person is was working with Eaton and had worked with Teradata and yes, so with good companies, this person has already worked. Okay, so that will be very relevant. This will be day after tomorrow evening. So I know that you all will be having your sessions and all. Okay, but this is something where again I would like only one candidate in this. Okay, we'll be having it in the evening, 7 to 9. So after 5:30, most of you will be free. So maybe 5:30 till 7, you may reach your home or your places. We will have it in the evening. Okay, between 7 to 9, and this will be from data warehousing background, business intelligence background, again very relevant to your profile. All right, so you can ping that who want to attempt for this next one. All right, so thank you everybody, thank you once again. We are closing, ending up here. Thanks a lot. Have a
Thank
good Sunday. Oh, sorry, Saturday. Sunday again we are meeting, for Java things. Thank you once again, Abhi. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.